3-0 to the Cockney boys, 3-0 to the Cockney boys, 3-0. What a win for West Ham United. I don't know about you, but I definitely saw it coming. I knew we were going to win.
Come on.
I was absolutely full of confidence. If you haven't listened to any of the podcasts this season, you'd believe me wholeheartedly. I'm Will Pugh, joined by James Jones. This is the We Are West Ham podcast. And finally, we've got something positive to talk about, which is sweet and blessed relief compared to what we've had to discuss the rest of the season. James, lovely to see you again, mate. I don't want any of your negativity this week. I think people have had enough of it so far this season. So for once, can you just be a bit positive about West Ham's fortunes? We've just won 3-0 away from home. And I don't want to be listening to you finding the negatives in what was otherwise a very good day, all right?
Do you know what? I was really looking forward to this. I was earlier on, I was talking to someone earlier and they asked me what I was doing this evening. I said, I'm recording my podcast. And I'm really looking forward to this one because we've just won a game of football and it'd be really nice just to talk about something lovely and not have to record just pure negativity for an hour. And then I spoke to you just before we went live and I was like, well, do you know what? The negativity coming out of your mouth a minute ago, just before we went live, we've just won 3-0 away at home against Nottingham Forest, who we've been led to believe over the last 18 months are the greatest team to have ever existed, right? Right? Not only the greatest team, right? I do. They're the greatest team that have existed. Their owners, like, literally best thing since sliced bread. The manager's good. They sign every player like that they can, that they want to. It's fine. We've gone there and won 3-0, and you were like, "That wasn't that good." And that good. Just defended for 90 minutes. It was only good in the last 10 minutes. And even then, well, that keeper should have saved that. Oh, yeah, that was an easy shot. Come on, mate. Can you be happy just for once?
No, I am happy. Paper and cracks springs to mind, but I am delighted. It's brilliant. What a win. Excellent stuff. A bit of resolute defending. I saw you tried to bait me on. No, I don't think it was you. I think you put out a tweet. And one of our loyal army of listeners replied to your tweet saying, thank F, it'll shut Will Pugh up from talking about David Moyes for a couple of weeks. But of course, James, as you know, as is my skill, I noticed you did reply, and rather than defend your co-host and long-term friend, you just sort of weighed in and backed up. I can't remember the guy's name.
Well, no, I can't remember who it was, but it was as I messaged you with my sheer delight that we just battered Nottingham Forest in our own backyard. I think my exact words were, "This is the best day of my life." And you went, "Yeah, well, we're still coming 14th." And as you did that, the listener texted me and said, "Oh, you're not going to have any."
On Twitter.
Or tweeted me, and I was just like, funny you should say that because he's literally just sent me negativity. We're still going to finish 14th. And I was like, I'm not having any of this. Not having it.
What I would say is sort of, if you compare the two reactions, this is the best day of my life.
In big capital letters as well. Yeah. I was basically shouting at you.
Yeah. I think you referred to the entirety of Nottingham Forest fan base, their players, all their coaching staff, the staff at the club and hierarchy as mugs.
I'm just going to get it back.
While you were gleefully, but so all I would say,
I did say that, to be fair.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Oh, go on. Do you want to recap for everyone?
Well, I can't. I mean, the language is terrible. Naughty. Fudging hate Forest. This is the best day of my life. Big capital letters.
Yeah.
Fudge them in their own backyard. Mugs.
Carry on the rest of the exchange if you want. I found the rest of it.
You went quality, that, isn't it? Paqueta making it clear he's staying too. And I was like, mate,
that is positivity right there.
He was mustard too, you said. And I said, mate, such a vast difference to what we've seen over the last 2 weeks. Fudge that back five rubbish off. And you went, yeah. That is such a huge win, I said. And then you were like, we were riding our luck a bit, to be fair. I was like, oh, here we go. Come on. And then I said, quite rightly, right, and I wonder what the listeners think of this, because I went up in my head.
Well, they'll have found the swearing a bit overwhelming, first of all.
I mean,
you've had to
yeah,
censor out from your own messages there.
Not very proud of myself after that. Yeah, I mean, it was a Sunday and I had a couple of beers and we just beaten Forest 3-0. I said it cancels out the Sunderland loss. We're basically at where we thought we'd be after 3 games. Now, listen,
insufferable positivity from James Jones as usual.
No,
yeah?
because we didn't expect to go to Sunday and get battered 3-0, right?
Well, you expected not to get anything, though. 0 points.
No, I probably expect us to get something at Sunderland. Maybe not a win.
So that's 1 point. No, go on. Here we go. Yeah, that's
right.
1 point.
I didn't think we'd beat Chelsea. I thought we'd lose that anyway.
Right, so 0 points.
Yeah, and I didn't think we'd beat. I didn't think we'd beat Forest.
So you didn't think we'd win any of the opening 3 games?
Well, I thought
we'd be newly promoted Sunderland.
Out of all those 3 games, Sunderland is the one that I was looking at going, if we're going to win any of the 3, it's that one, right? And we didn't. Yeah. We didn't win the game against Chelsea, which I didn't expect, but we did win one against Forest, which I didn't expect. So if we'd had won that game against the one game that I thought we would probably win, but then lost the other 2, we're still on 3 points, right? In my head. So it cancels it out. And it even cancels out the goal difference as well, because it was 3-0 and 3-0. So I'm having that. And you went, ha, 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 ha. Calm down, positive Percy. And I was like, what? I can't even be happy about my team winning 3-0 against Nottingham Forest of all teams as well.
You do hate Nottingham Forest, to be fair.
So then I said, mate, fudge Forest, nothing will stop me tonight. I am free. I don't even know what that bit means. I don't know what that means. Yeah.
No, carry on.
So yeah, that was it.
And then, I think then I just told you to stop drinking.
Yeah, you said stop drinking, and I said no.
That
was pretty much it.
And then you didn't, and we didn't text anymore. Yeah. Fair enough. No, I would say that of the 2 reactions there, I'm glad we sort of read them out word for word, and just word for word, bar all the X-rated swearing that you had to censor out your own messages, because this is, if nothing else, a family safe podcast. That my reaction of, we're probably still going to come 14th, wasn't an unreasonable reaction compared to saying words like, this is the best day of my life. I would say if anyone sort of swung to the extreme there, out of the 2 of us, it wasn't you, and I was maybe more middle of the road and realistic.
I got carried away because on 80 minutes,
I am free.
On 80 minutes, I'm sitting there. I'm in a pub. I'm in a pub garden. They got a big TV out in a big pub garden. I'm in a pub garden. And I'm right at the front. And as the game's gone on, the pub garden's filling up because everyone's rocking up. They're not rocking up to watch West Ham Forest, which is terribly sad. They're rocking up because obviously it's Liverpool Arsenal afterwards, right? So the whole pub garden's filling up. They're ready. They want this game done. And they probably rocked up and gone, 0-0, ball draw. This is ridiculous. Let's get the proper football on, right? And so I'm sitting there at the front. I'm the only West Ham fan there. And at 80 minutes, I'm thinking to myself, do you know what? I'll take a goalless draw here. It's a good point away from home. Respect the away point, as I always say.
Yeah.
And then 9 minutes later, we're 3-0 up. And I'm standing on the bench in the pub. Going, come on, have some of that. Yeah, I made myself like a right Wally. But I didn't care.
Free.
I'm free. Yeah, I almost took my top off. I was that happy. So yeah.
Don't you were that free. Yeah. That might be one of the favourite messages you've ever sent me. I am free, I think. James, one thing, it feels like a sort of a bad time to mention this 8 minutes into the podcast, but I keep forgetting every time to bring it up. I've noticed recently my audio seems to be peaking quite a bit, but I can't for the life of me find out where the sensitivity knob on my microphone is. So a bit of mid-pod admin here, but how's the audio?
It's the top knob, not the bottom knob.
Okay. Do I sound overexposed or over sensitive? The audio, not just me and my disposition.
Have you got it plugged in, mate?
Yeah, it definitely is plugged in.
Yeah. Have you set your settings so that
Please don't turn off, anyone. This is for your own good. Yeah, I'm definitely on the mic. Yeah. Oh well, I've turned the knob down a little bit, so fingers crossed that helps. What else was I going to say? Don't forget to follow us, of course, on social media. On Twitter, we're at @WeAre_West Ham. James is at by James Jones. I'm at William Pugh _. You can get us on Instagram as well. We are West Ham Pod. And you can, follow our individual accounts as well if you so wish. And of course, if you like getting stuff early, podcasts in particular, and you don't like adverts, well, we are the pod for you, because you can sign up for less than £4 a month at patreon.com/wearewesthampodcast. And you can get exactly that. You can get every single one of these podcasts a day before everyone else, and there will be no adverts in it. What an appealing and appetizing product prospect, even that is, for just a handful of pennies every month. Well, about 300 pennies, but in today's grand scheme of things, what you can get for that these days is a pretty good deal, if you ask me. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just search We Are West Ham Podcast over on the YouTube channel. This will be an ever so slightly shorter podcast, I imagine. I mean, I say that, but you know what it's like when me and James get going, because there's an international break this week. So West Ham don't play. Graham Potter did his very best to be... He might be one of the only people associated with West Ham, James, at the moment, who's more miserable than I am. After the game, he was asked if, if the 3 points and the positivity made him feel good going into this international break, and how he felt personally after all the stick he'd got. And he was just like, well, yeah, of course it does. So, blimey, Graham, sorry, the interviewer's only trying to give you a chance to say something positive for the first time in about 18 months, to be fair, or whenever it was that he was at Chelsea. I made that point on the radio the other day. How long's it been since Graham Potter didn't have to give a post-match interview that was, no, we lost the game, but pleased with some aspects of the performance as positive to take. Oh, blimey, Graham. But anyway, he didn't look that pleased about the win. I was, on the other hand, James. So on this podcast, we'll break down the game in a little bit more detail. In a little while, we'll do some messages from you guys. Those of you on Patreon, we've had a few over on our social platforms as well. So we'll get stuck in to those. Just have a general chinwag about all things Hammers, starting with a bit more of a detailed breakdown of the game next. Right, James. Now, I think, unreasonable as you often are in your response to my normal objective observations about West Ham, which just so happen to be negative when West Ham are playing rubbish and the football's negative. Will you accept? I'm going to put two things to you, and I want you to answer with your reasonable hat on, if indeed you own one of those, rather than you're fed up of listening to me once a week for the last 7 years. Two things. One, will you accept that West Ham, for the first 80 minutes of the game, rode our luck somewhat, and that it did look like if any team was going to score, it was going to be Nottingham Forest rather than West Ham, namely given that the average positional map of all 11 of our players at half-time showed only one of them, which was Jarrod Bowen, whose average position was in Nottingham Forest's half.
I did see that actually on the TV, and I was like, that's odd, because it doesn't seem like that.
That's odd, because I'm feeling so positive, Percy, about this game.
No, I felt like I think we were very fortunate that Nottingham Forest had a really, really bad day. They definitely weren't. It wasn't the performance from Forest that I was expecting. But I felt like, even though, maybe at times Forest probably looked like they were more likely to score, we still had our chances. They didn't really test us. I don't remember Hermanson making a save where I went, oh, what a save that was. They could have got in that.
True. I think the first effort on target was that save from Sells, which I think was Paqueta for either team, sort of in the latter stages, of the first half. Routine save, but and the one on the shot from the edge of the box, I think Fernandez pulled it back for Paqueta.
Yeah, I just don't recall any moment in the game where either side really looked like scoring until the last 10 minutes, when we Bowen got that goal, and then it all went a little bit mental. But over the course of the game, I'm looking at the stats now with more shots than them, more shots on target. By a long way as well, not shots. We had one more shot than them, but loads. We had They had 12 shots, 8 on target, which is pretty mental. Our shooting's never been that good, has it?
Genuinely think all of them came in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, well. I think so. But yes, kind of. But at the same time, I'm like, I still think we played well for, the 90 minutes. I thought the system was far better.
I've got one more to put to you in a minute, so carry on.
I thought the system was much better. It suited us better. I thought, I know we'll get onto it, but I thought Taz Fernandez, that's just one of our 2 new midfielders, like completely changed us.
He did play well, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, and I just think, it worked and it suited us far better the way that we set up. Yes, Forest weren't at their best. It was a bad day for them. Obviously, they got a lot of off-field problems going on, but overall, I didn't. There wasn't a point in the game where I was like, "Oh, we're in trouble here," and we need to pull our finger out because we're playing terribly. I think I even tweeted at half time that I thought it was just a far better 45 minutes of football from West Ham that we haven't seen in months. And then obviously they continued that in the second half and then got the win. So yeah, I don't think I wouldn't go as far to say we rode our luck as such. So no, I don't agree with you, mate.
Yeah, okay. So we just thought we sort of defended well and deserved to still be in the game in that late stage.
Essentially, yeah. I thought we played well.
Okay. The second thing I want to put to you then, would you concede that the recipe to that success and the style of play and the system and the way the game played out as we saw could sort of, rather than long, elaborate explanations of exactly what happened, could more succinctly be described as Moyes ball?
I knew that was coming.
41% possession, almost half the amount of passes as Nottingham Forest made, lower pass accuracy, 7 corners, and ultimately just defended really well for large portions of the game, hung on in there, kept on in it, and the smash and grab sort of on a counter-attack. Thanks to some really exciting, fast forward-thinking players on the counter-attack at the end. If that's not Moyes ball, I don't know what is.
I think when you go away to a team like Nottingham Forest, you would be naive to go, right, we're going to try and dominate.
Yes or no, mate?
No, I don't agree with you because I know what you're trying to do.
Right, okay.
I just think you go away to Nottingham Forest and you try and play that possession, expansive, free-flowing, tiki-taka football, and you're going to get beat.
Want, though, mate.
Yeah, but there's a time and a place for it, right? There always has been. The problem on the Moyes, I don't want to go into it. The problem on the Moyes was it was every game. It was at home against Burnley. It was ridiculous. It got to the point where it was just getting silly. Whereas this, I think we set up against good Nottingham Forest side. Kills me to say that. A good Nottingham Forest side. Away from home, and we executed the game plan perfectly. That's what
you must
be about it.
You must be fuming though, not only having 41% possession.
No, I wasn't.
It's not the football you want to see, is it?
Because I think at half time it was 50%. It was pretty much.
I've already explained that where the average position of 10 of our 11 players was in our own half.
Yes,
the entirety of the first half.
We had half the possession in the first half. Obviously, as the home team, they're going to have a little bit more possession in the second half. And we played, mate. I'm not getting sucked into any of this. I think it's pathetic that you're even digging for it.
No, I think it was brilliant.
Mate, we've won a game of football, and you're automatically going, oh yeah, right. Mate, you would be literally you would have been texting me saying you're free if it was David Moyes in charge. Guaranteed it.
No, I loved it. I thought it was absolutely brilliant to watch West Ham set up. Oh, sorry, that was the other bit. It was a 4-2-3-1 formation as well, which was very nice. I as you well know, James, I love nothing more than to see West Ham score more goals than the opposition, and I couldn't care less about how much possession we have in order to get that. But what I don't like, and I struggle to find the positives in, is when West Ham have about the same or a little bit more of the ball than the opponent, but they've scored 4 or 5 more goals than we have. That's when I do struggle. I will admit, I'll hold my hands up, James. I do struggle to find the positives in those, and that's obviously a character flaw on my part rather than you and all the other boys outers. But Yeah, but that was that little bit there, James. He was in honour of. I wish I remember his name. Can you pull up the name of the guy who replied to your tweet the other day? Because he did actually tag me in it as well, which I respect. But yeah, that was that that was in honour for the guy who was digging me out on in your Twitter replies the other day. Because he said he wouldn't be for me. Look, 63% possession we had at Sunderland. They won 3-0. Who'd you rather be? Well, I know you'd rather be, but I was really annoyed that game. But yeah, just in homage to your little mate on Twitter, who,
William Ed,
William Ed, yeah, respect to you, William Ed, who thought he was going to have 2 weeks without me mentioning David Moyes. So there you go. No, but on a more serious note, James. It was strange, wasn't it? I mean, excellent goal from Jarrod Bowen. One thing I will say, by the way, that looked like an all-timer of an away end. That absolutely brilliant. Sunday, a bit of a schlep up to Nottingham, trains all up the spout. So I hear proper decent following, absolutely rammed out away end. Given the backdrop of how bad we'd been going into the game as well. And the fact that almost every single West Ham fan I spoke to thought we were going to get an absolute piping. Great following up there, great atmosphere, and well deserved. Happy days away day for the Claret and Blue Army there. First of all, just on that point though, James, when Jarrod Bowen, you mentioned it before we came on, bit of an odd angle to score a goal from, did extremely well to get on the end of it. I actually thought that it had gone wide because it kind of bounced back off of the metal bit around the bottom of the net and like bounced up and back towards. I was like, oh, that's hit something really hard, aka the advertising hoarding, and just like totally didn't celebrate at all. Like didn't even have a surge of it was more like that's a shame, that was close, but a weird angle to shoot from. And then Bowen's like wheeling away and the away end's going mad. I'm like, what's the matter with everyone? Can everyone just relax a little bit? But an excellent goal. And as everyone knows, I can't wax lyrical enough about Jarrod Bowen. By far and away our best player this season, last season as well, holds himself to, fortunately, a much higher standard than several of his teammates over the past season or two have done so. And actually at least one of his managers. What a man again, just still so underrated, absolute, saved our back so many times. Comes up with the goods again, and you could tell it meant a lot to him as well, I think. Obviously, we'll get on to Paqueta in a minute, but you could tell it meant like the absolute world to him. Obviously, had a bit of weight on his shoulders, had that Barney with a fan after the defeat at Wolves in the Cup. But what I will say is, for the majority of that Wolves game, obviously frustrating with the late collapse, we did look like a proper football team for large parts of it. And we've had another football game then when we look like a proper football team again. Just nice for Jarrod to be the one to set up the eventual rollicking.
Yeah, I think a lot of it would have been, that celebration would have been half what happened after the Wolves game. That would have been playing on his mind, because it would have been, he would have probably felt quite frustrated. Obviously, come out and apologised after. Like,
Which
why
he did not need to do.
Why he's apologising, I don't know, but he would have felt quite bad about it. And it's also his first goal of the season. He's off the mark. So he's probably buzzing about that as well. And it's a really, really good finish. I mean, it's a sort of the way when he took the shot on, the angle on the position is that most strikers just hold that up and maybe lay it off again to, you might lay it against Summerville, because Summerville's making a run. He's maybe looking for the 1-2.
Yeah.
And instead he's like, no, I'm going to hit this first time on a spin. Why not? It's bottom corner. It's like only Jarrod Bowen does that sort of stuff. So, yeah, a very, very good finish.
That is a sort of one, James, isn't it? Where normally if someone would do that, it would go wide. And I'd be like, why didn't you take a touch? Why have you shot there? What is the matter with you?
Hold it up. You've got options, Jarrod. You've got options around you. He's like, no, I don't need options, mate. Look.
Bang. Bottom left.
Fair play.
That was wonderful stuff. Crysencio Summerville, by the way, I've been talking about him for ages, whether it's on the podcast, on the radio, in the pub, to anyone who'll listen, saying how unlucky we were and unfortunate we were that he got injured last season. absolutely thrilled to see him back. I didn't even know either. I didn't clock the bench before the game. I just seen the starting 11 or whatever. I hadn't really scanned the subs. And then all of a sudden, he's ready to go on next to the fourth official. I was like, happy day, get in there, my son. And you know what's absolutely amazing as well? What an instant impact he's had. There was sort of, obviously, because it was a hamstring injury, lots of concerns that it may affect his speed, which is obviously one of his biggest and main attributes. I think it was you was explaining, James, on a recent podcast that sort of explained the delay in his return, that he wanted to see if it would heal naturally at first because he was worried surgery might affect him long term and affect his speed. But fortunately, he looks absolutely rapid still. And what a way to instantly restore your confidence in your ability after being out injured for that long. Comes on, absolutely changed the game, then wins the pen, which Paqueta puts in. But before we get on to Paqueta, unbelievable. I'm so happy for him. I'm so happy for him. I'm so happy for the club, so happy for the fans. And I think he can be if he can stay fit and we can keep him fit, I think he can be an absolutely enormous positive and do way more than Mohamed should have done for us last season. And he will be a man I'll be far more relieved to see strutting his stuff in a West Ham shirt and playing at his best. And I think he will. He seems to have got that attitude as well. Everyone seems to like him and talk highly of him. Graham Potter and all the players afterwards were pleased for him. That's such an enormous positive. You just sort of cross everything that he can stay fit for a while.
Yeah, do you know what? I completely forgot how much we missed him back in the second half of last season. Because when he limped off against Villa in the cup, I think it was Potter's first game, he'd set us up to go 1-0 up, I think, and was looking really, really good. And then obviously he got that injury. And I just forgot how much we missed him. And then within 5 minutes from coming on, he set a goal up and won a penalty, and it was just like, oh my god, I forgot he was that good. It was brilliant. And you're right, it gives confidence to him first and foremost. But I think just that impact, it also lifts the club. Totally. We've had a tough 2 or 3 weeks, really tough start to the season, and then Summerville comes back and then does that within 5 minutes of he's been out for 8-9 months. He comes back and does that within 5 minutes, and it's like just the whole lift around the club has completely changed just from that 5 minutes of football that he made an impact in. So yeah, absolutely buzzing. But you're right, we've got to keep him fit, and there is the worry with hamstring injuries that they can reoccur. So hopefully, because he did have surgery in the summer, hopefully that would have stopped it from reoccurring. But yeah, what a player, mate.
Mustard. Lucas Paqueta obviously steps up, dispatches the pen, does the old stutter run up, staring at the keeper as he strikes the ball in. I'm still not quite convinced when players do that. And watching that Grimsby Man United penalty shootout sort of ratified what I thought. I'm not like Paqueta didn't. I don't know what he'd seen there, because even when you watch it in real slow motion, he hits the ball at the same time, but basically while the goalkeeper's still stood still, just about moved. I'm sorry, I know these are superhuman athletes with unbelievable fitness levels and reaction times and all that sort of thing, but there's nowhere in 1,000 years, 1,000 years, that Paqueta's seen the goalkeeper go that way and then rolled it the other way. There's every chance the goalie dives that way, and it's one of the worst penalties anyone's ever seen. And he doesn't get the chance to let everyone know via way of one of the most iconic celebrations of all time that he intends to stay at West Ham. Would he, in fact, James, run with me with this theory, if he missed that penalty, would he in fact be an Aston Villa player right now?
No, I don't think so. I don't think there was at any point he was in danger of leaving. By all accounts, his wife wouldn't have it either, because his wife loves West Ham. Have you seen her Instagram? She loves us, absolutely loves us. Can't get enough of it. So yeah. I don't think the club sanctions it. I genuinely don't think the club.
You'd like to think that, wouldn't you?
I don't see it after everything that happened in the summer. Obviously, then with his case, and he's come out and said that the club stood by him through thick and thin.
It would have been a monumental act of contempt from both him and the club if he did.
we've stood by him. We've really supported him. We've got him through the court case. He's been cleared. He's come out and said that, he's very, very grateful for the way the club stood by him and how the fans stood by him and everything. And but he loves the club, and then for him just to be allowed to be sold on deadline day, after we've already improved our midfield. Let's not weaken it 24 hours later, guys. Come on, chill out. I just didn't see any scenario where the club would allow that to happen at that late stage in the window. So I wasn't worried.
Yeah, that makes one of us, James. Wonderful, brilliant, and it's one of those sort of iconic moments. I hope he gives us a season, and I hope, because I thought he was man of the match on Sunday. I thought he worked really hard, and it was one of those performances that make you so frustrated by him, that make him such a frustrating player sometimes. I think we can all tell, and we can all see, and that's why Man City were going to pay 85 million quid for him. We can all see what a player there is in there. And on his day, he almost single-handedly wins games because of all the work he does off the ball as well. That's what I sort of love as much about him. He's obviously a mercurial talent on the ball when he wants to be and when his head's in it. But he puts in as much hard work as most other people. He's strong as an ox. He throws himself around. He gets stuck in. He nicks balls off people and all that sort of stuff. But again, that's why, in a strange way, if he had gone to Man City, I think he'd have been talking about one of the best players in the world, like Ballon d'Or nominations and all that, because I think Pep would have realised that it's a different level. It's another step up there. And at West Ham, I feel like he knows he's so good and that he's the best player in the squad by a mile, bar Bowen, but like by a mile, natural talent and all flair and stuff, certainly, that he sort of knows that if he has a 6 out of 10 game one game, he's getting in the team again next week anyway. But I think at Man City, he wouldn't have had that luxury, and he'd have had to be on it every game, doing the right stuff on and off the ball, which I think he's capable of doing. And I think he'd have been mustard there. But brilliant to still have him playing at West Ham. A wonderful performance on the weekend, and I just hope, I'd really like to think we get a full season out of him at West Ham, playing at his best, and then if he ends up going again at the end of the year, and we get a decent chunk of money for him, so be it. Do you know what I mean? But I'm just glad. I don't want to see him go in January, is what I'm saying. I'm just glad to. Hopefully he just plays at his best, because he hasn't been, he was pretty annoyingly bad against Chelsea. Obviously scored that goal, but then just irritating after that, giving the ball away, blah, blah, blah. Want to see him at his best. I want to see him and Jarrod Bowen and Summerville actually strike fear into Premier League defences this season, as that sort of pretty petrifying attacking front three behind the lethal Callum Wilson, Mikel Antonio 2.0.
No, I agree. I think if he carries on the way he's going, he's got 3 and 4. He's opened the season with 3 and 4. If he carries on the way he's going, it'd be very, very difficult to keep him, maybe even in January.
But I don't want to be faffed. That's again, tell him like a normal club.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I'd be shocked if he did go. Yeah, mid-season, you've had an absolute blinder for the first 3 months of the season. You're gone and you can get your move.
Yeah. Come on, Luke, you've got to stay. We're on the verge of finishing 14th here, mate.
But yeah, I think if he carries on the way he is for the rest of the season, then I think it'd be difficult to keep him next year, especially if he finished 14th. But yeah, he's been brilliant all season, and I did feel. Yes, I mean he wasn't great.
Sorry, he wasn't brilliant against Chelsea, was he?
No, but I thought he was good against Wolves.
He was good against Wolves. He's been good in 50% of the games.
Yeah, but he scored 3 goals. I did feel like after he was cleared, I did feel like, this could be, I know it's cliche, but this could be like a new sign. This could really invigorate him, because if he got found guilty, there could have been a lifetime ban. We know that.
Yeah.
So, like the fact, and you could tell last year with his performances last season that it was definitely weighing on him. He got booked against Tottenham and started crying. You could tell that there was a lot of pressure there. So I'm delighted for him that he started the season the way he has. Scored 3 goals, and the fans have been singing his name and the fans support him and he's feeling that love and that appreciation for him. And we're getting it back. So the long may it continue. But yeah, I'll be worried next year if he does carry on, because I don't think we'll keep him.
Yeah, again, that's fine. If you can get some money in for him, so be it. It's like the Declan Rice thing. It's fine. That happens in football, whatever. But yeah, brilliant. Callum Wilson, James, just a little, while we're on this wave of positivity, despite your best efforts. Most West Ham fans, me included, thoroughly underwhelmed. We'd finally got rid of Danny Ings, and to be fair, Mikel Antonio, obviously the circumstances weren't ideal, but there were plenty, including me, who felt that he'd passed his sell-by date 2 or 3 years before he had that awful car accident, to be quite honest. And that not that it was his fault, as everyone knows, and never say a bad word about him, about the effort he put in, but the very best Mikel Antonio wasn't good enough for West Ham, or where West Ham were trying to be or thought we would be, or where the fans wanted us to be for the last sort of couple of years before his accident. So you get rid of Antonio goes, sorry, not get rid of, but Antonio leaves with all of our best and warmest wishes. Danny Ings, you get rid of him finally, with very few warm wishes, I don't think, and lots of our money. And you sort of think, okay, Füllkrug, yeah, he's getting back fit, 25 Germany caps, played for Borussia Dortmund. You don't play at that level for being a rubbish player. So unlucky with fitness last year. Okay, all right, decent. Yeah, he's not an absolute howler of a striker like some of the ones we've had in recent times. Okay, not too bad. And you bring Callum Wilson in, it's like, here we go again. But he's on a pay-as-you-play basis. His basic wage reported to be around 10 grand, I believe. And then he only gets paid like a Premier League player if he plays games for West Ham and scores. So a little bit more of a sensible approach from the board with that transfer compared to the one they gave Danny Ings, which is why he was hanging around like a bad smell for so long. And I must admit, James, after a couple of fairly sort of underwhelming performances, again, difficult to come off the bench. I get all that. He came off the bench against Forest and looked for after Füllkrug, who I'm a big fan of, as you know, had a bit of a stinker, to be honest. He was not very good. And yeah, I was quite a bit uncharacteristic, I thought. It was just loads and loads of bad touches. Graham Potter wouldn't have been pleased with him. I wouldn't have thought. Took him off. Callum Wilson come on, and he looked very, very good, James. He looked absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, he held the ball up well. He had a chance before the goal, didn't he? I think at 0-0. Potentially.
Nice bit of footwork.
Took a deflection, did well to save it. Good footwork. Movement off the ball was completely different to what Füllkrug offers, especially in the build up to that goal.
Yeah,
that he scored. If you watch the movement, someone tweeted me and said, at this rate, is Callum Wilson our best striker? And it's difficult to argue. I know he's only scored one goal, and he's, you shouldn't really get ahead of ourselves. But I think just that cameo off the bench, the goal tops it off. But even then, he still offered us something very, very different to what Füllkrug gives us. And yeah, he definitely showed his Premier League experience for sure. I was talking to a Newcastle fan earlier, and he was saying to me, he was like, at one point towards the end of the transfer window, he was asking him, why have we let him go? Because of obviously the whole Isak thing, and didn't know whether they were going to get a replacement before they sold him. And why have we let him go? Because on his day he's a player. And I was like, well, if you'd have said that to me about a week ago, I would have been like, no thanks, mate. But now I'm like, actually, I think I might be sold on it. Especially when you look at the economics of the deal as well. So if you keep him fit, he's only 12 goals off 100 club as well. So you never know.
I think for Füllkrug, it's a real shame that goal against Chelsea didn't stand. I think if that
needs a goal, doesn't he?
Needs a goal, definitely, yeah. And because even and that's the thing, in his first season, he was a bit unlucky with injuries. He put the ball in a few times.
Yeah, I think he's got 4 or 5. I think. Yeah,
and then a few of them were in defeats as well, so it was kind of forgotten about quite easily. But I would like him to score a goal because I think that's what he needs. And you don't, particularly with strikers, you don't want their confidence to suffer, do you? But I would still like Fulkrug to start our next game. If they're both fit, I think you persevere with Fulkrug for now. Because, again, Callum Wilson, that's kind of what you want. You want him as a coming off the bench, having an impact sort of player, don't you?
Yes.
So,
100%.
yeah, I still think, give Fulkrug another chance. He feels like the sort of game as well, Tottenham, that he would absolutely thrive on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, come off the bench, scored a winner type.
No, sorry, I mean Fulkrug. I mean Fulkrug
Fulkrug.
from the off. Yeah, getting into him.
Maybe.
I feel like he'd absolutely thrive off of that.
Potentially, yeah. I mean,
I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but all in all, very positive stuff. And one man that we can't escape talking about him in positive fashion, James, Super Thomas Souček. What a man! I mean, I can't be bothered to hear people go, he's not a Graham Potter player. It's like, we've got about 8 other players who've been starting first team games for West Ham recently who I'd rather see benched for a game than Thomas Souček, right? Don't tell me that a manager, whatever style he wants to play or whatever, you alluded to it earlier, James, saying that the positive thing about the performance, that it was, that it was adaptive and West Ham were flexible and didn't just stick with the same system. Obviously, you stopped shy of calling it Moyes ball, which is exactly what it was. But Thomas Souček was brilliant again. James Ward-Prowse, fine. He hasn't been great for the first few games of the season, but there's lots of other players who I'd sooner see dropped than Thomas Souček, and it's got to the stage now where it's like the science of, does Souček play? Yes. Do West Ham play well and win the game, or play well in the game and are in it or get something out of it? Yes. Like there's almost direct correlation between those two things now. And I thought Fernandes was very good as well. It was a hugely positive performance of 11 blokes who actually look like they had played football before, playing under a manager who looked like he'd set up a football team before, which was nice. And the 4 at the back, 4-2-3-1 as well. If it ain't broke, it was never broke.
Yeah. I think I was most impressed with Fernandes' debut. I just think he offers us something in midfield that no other midfielder in the squad does. He was just active.
Yeah, legs.
He had legs.
Ability.
He was tackling. He was getting involved. His passing was good. He was going forward. He was always looking forward, running forward. It was just mobile, which was lovely to see. It was just being able to see one of the midfielders run 5 yards
rather than the concrete brothers, Guido and James Ward-Prowse.
It was refreshing to see. But there was a couple of times where he broke the lines. That one where he crossed the ball in for Paqueta, sort of running in behind, sort of offering something a bit different from midfield. Don't get that. So I'm very, very impressed with that. And then we've got the other lads rocked up as well. We obviously don't know much about Magassa. But by all accounts, he's pretty good as well. So that midfield has been transformed, and you do wonder. With Ward-Prowse will probably come out from Magassa. Souček's still there, mate. He's still there.
He's got to be.
He's still there.
He's got to be. Leave him in every week. Right, I tell you what, we'll wrap up in after this section. We'll do some messages from you lot, and we'll have a chat about the transfer window. Then we'll say goodbye. Okay, James. Brad Stevens has been in touch from down under. Now, I don't know if he's baiting me here. It has been known before for We Are West Ham listeners to slide into my DMs on various platforms. The best one to get a reply out of me on is patreon.com/We Are West Ham podcast for less than £4 a month. Podcasts a day early than everyone else and ad-free listening. But Brad this time took it upon himself to slide into my DMs on Instagram. Good day, Will. I'm not going to do the Aussie accent, bit insulting that. Do you think with the latest signings we have a chance of finishing 10th? Oof. He's put a laughing face emoji afterwards, James. I think he is winding me up. But that seems like a good blend of doing messages and talking about transfers. So I'll put that to you first, because I think Brad was taking a mickey out of me because I always bang on about us definitely finishing 14th, which, to be fair, my stance on that has really shifted that much. But so James, Brad Stevens, do you think that with the latest signings we have a chance of finishing 10th?
Well, I'd like to see a midfield with Magassa in just to see what he's like.
Just to see who the hell he is, what the hell he does, because you know nothing about him.
I don't know anything about him, but seeing Fernandes in that midfield and sort of the transformation already just with him there, his presence, makes me wonder whether we could be on to something a little bit better than 14th this season. It's still very, very early days, maybe, and it is only one win. And I do feel like we probably did come up a little bit short in the window. Probably could do one or two more players, but
I'll run through them quickly. So we signed Mateus Fernandes from Southampton. Jean-Claire Todibo made his deal permanent because we had to, I think. El Hadji Malik Diouf, of course, a left-back who started very well indeed. Mads Hermansen, first clean sheet at Forest, but pretty sketchy before that. Songutu Magassa, as James mentioned, 21-year-old defensive midfield player from Monaco. Carl Walker-Peters, who's looked absolutely fine. Had a pretty decent game on the weekend against Forest, I thought. Callum Wilson and Igor Julio, 27-year-old Brazilian centre-back from Brighton, arrived on loan until the end of the season. On deadline day, we were also in talks for Axel Disasi at Chelsea, who spent the end of last season or the second half of last season on loan at Villa. He didn't fancy it by all accounts. Naif Aguerd left, of course. Maxwell Cornet went to Genoa on loan, I think. Kurt Zuma obviously went. Caelan Casey, Lewis Orford. Kante and Robertson, they all left on loan, and then Kudus, of course, left. So just overall then, James, new players, the ones who've left, what do you think of the transfer window?
We've had worse windows, if I'm honest. I do feel a little bit concerned that we're still a little bit light in certain areas, especially up front. I know obviously we were talking about Callum Wilson earlier. We are light up front. I don't want us to be in a situation where we haven't played Bowen up front again. The boost is obviously Summerville comes back from injury, and that's already like, we've got another player there. But I think at the back we're still light. I'm not massively convinced on Igor Julio.
No, played about 13 times for Brighton last season.
Yeah, it's like can't get in the Brighton team. And I mean, I've never been convinced of him just purely based off the fact that he's the one that should have taken Jarrod Bowen out when he ran through and goal in the final minute against Fiorentina. And not only did he not take him out, take the hit for the team, take the red card, and take the game into extra time, he couldn't even catch him. So it's just
quick.
I mean, yeah, but come on, like, you're a centre back, mate. You should just take him out. Just take him out. You want it, like, I don't care. Take the red card. It's 90th minute of a cup final. Take him out. Take the red card. Goes to extra time. And anything can happen. Doesn't do it. Immediately, big red flag for me. I'm happy he didn't do it, obviously, because we won the cup. But red flag. But yeah,
red card rather than a red flag.
I'm not convinced by that. With him coming in, he will be back up, I'm sure. But yeah, I just don't know.
Oh, look, I'll tell you what, James, I got a bit confused initially there. So Kudus left, Aguerd left for Marseille, Edson Alvarez left for Fenerbahce on loan. A peculiar one that. I think there's more to that than we think. Emerson went to Marseille on a permanent deal. Really sad about that one. My understanding is that he was on about 90 grand a week, and just West Ham wanted to get that off of the books. Danny Ings left, and obviously we know about Soufal, Cresswell, and Cornet from earlier in the window, or not Cornet as such, but that was a bit of a later one. But we know about the others. So those were the departures. I can't really see. I don't really feel like the squad and the team is loads better.
The midfield immediately is for me. I genuinely think the mid. If you list,
because of Magassa and Fernandes, but you've sort of Fernandes you know about, but Magassa has a clue whether he's going to be up for it.
I think by all accounts he's a good player, but you'd like to think so. Given he signed it, right?
All of the accounts.
But I think if you looked at our midfield before, You got Keita Rodriguez, can't run, can't pass, can't
Yeah,
kick the
he's
ball.
still there, by the way. Still there.
Yeah, you got
Of all
Edson
the players we
Alvarez.
couldn't get rid of.
Edson Alvarez, who's like literally a walking red card, and also can't run. You got Ward-Prowse, who does a job, is okay, but best days are behind him. And then you got Thomas Souček, who is obviously in the starting 11.
Is in the peak.
And then you've got Andy Irving, the king. And it's like, it's like you're looking at it going, it's one of the weakest Premier League midfields going. So we had to upgrade it. It blows my mind that we left it until 2 games into the season or 3 games into the season to actually buy a midfielder. But I feel like we're better in midfield. Defense is, I think, at left back we have upgraded. Diouf on Emerson. I'm sad. I'm also sad about Emerson. I mean, the bloke's a hero for me purely for his performance in the final. I thought he was outstanding.
Yeah, but he was so much more than that. He was so good. I thought he was like our second best player behind Bowen for a long time before that.
Good player. I think Diouf is an upgrade for me. I think Diouf is an upgrade. And obviously, Walker Peters is Walker Peters. Like he's a backup, right? But he played well the other day.
Emerson's one of the I couldn't let it go anymore. Emerson's one of the greatest left backs we have had.
One of the greatest left backs we've ever had.
No, he's one of the greatest left backs we've had at the club. He's up there with Aaron Cresswell's boots took some filling at our football club, right? Absolute all-timer icon, will be remembered for a long time for his 11 years at the club. Julian Dix, absolute legend. I'm sorry, Emerson gets on the podium for me with them two. He's a mate. He, like you said, man of the match in the biggest game in our club's history in recent years. Absolutely must have proper underrated for such a long time.
I agree it was underrated. I do agree it was underrated. I do.
I don't know who else gets up there. Who's making the top 3? Dixie. Right. Paul Konchesky, I love him, but Emerson beats Paul Konchesky, beats George McCartney, Harita Ilunga, eat your heart out. Name me a better left back.
I'm not saying he was bad. I'm not saying he's terrible.
But a man who's played 3 games for us, you said he's definitely an upgrade. I think such an enormous statement.
Well, immediately he's got 2 assists already this season. I think Diouf offers us a lot more than Emerson did. From an attacking point of view, especially, I won't have a bad word to say about Emerson. But I think he's great. I'm sad he's gone.
You've just said a player who's played 3 times for us is definitely an upgrade on him.
No, I think he will be an upgrade. I genuinely believe that. Come the end of the season, we'll be going, we've upgraded that. We've upgraded. Genuinely, I believe that. I think Diouf is going to prove to be a very, very shrewd addition to the team. He's already got 2 assists. He's brilliant.
What you think of that? If you reply nothing else and you engage with nothing else in this episode, whether it's the YouTube comments or the podcast comments, DMs, just let me know or us know. Do you think Diouf is better than Emerson? And let us know.
That's not what I've said, though.
Oh my God! You said he's an upgrade on Emerson. How's that? So that's not saying he's better. Upgrade is better.
He will prove to be an upgrade.
You don't upgrade your phone and get a worse one, do you?
He will prove to be an upgrade. I promise you that now. By the end of the season, we'll be going, we've upgraded him. Because Emerson, for everything that he did for the club and the performances he put in, his output was pretty terrible in terms of assists. Didn't get many assists for us. I think Diouf's probably halfway through his assists already. You want your left back to defend, but you also want him to contribute in the attacking third, like when we're actually on the attack. So,
God, you keep going for a sec because naturally I'm gonna fact check this.
Fact check it. No, I think it's maybe 4 or 5 assists in his West Ham career.
Mate, absolutely. The man got 11 goal contributions in 113 appearances. That's a goal contribution every 10 games for left back. That's outstanding.
Diouf's got 2 in 4. 50% record there.
Yeah.
Upgrade already.
Bearing in mind, he is a defender and he has also conceded 11 goals in 3 games.
True. Yeah, true. I stand by what I said.
we either play him at left midfield or we remind him that he also does have to defend. Out of interest, James, how many goal contributions do you think Aaron Cresswell got for West Ham in 369 games?
I think I know this, sadly. I'm going to say I think he got 10 or 11 goals. Are we talking all competitions, yeah?
Are you just look? Yeah. Are you looking at your nerdy little?
No, I'm not.
Stat thing. No.
I'm not. 10 or 11 goals, and I'm going to have a stab at 35 assists.
Mate, that is if you haven't actually cheated there, that is pretty good knowledge.
I haven't cheated.
You got 11 goals and 37 assists.
Oh,
in 369 games. So if my maths is correct, that is only about a 0.01. No, sorry, about a 0.05% better goal contribution rate per game than Emerson.
Okay.
So whatever 367 divide 11 is, or the other way around. So my point being that he also, both of those players, Emerson and Cresswell, were also a bit better at defending than us. And what we've spent most of the podcast this season going is, Carl, we don't half look susceptible to attacks that in wide areas. And unfortunately, that is also a significant part of Juve's responsibility.
Yeah, I don't know from what side of the pitch most of those wide goals have come from, though.
Definitely our left.
I'm guessing Wanny Bees.
Well, what a last season player of the year, you mean?
Yeah, that's why he got dropped.
Honestly, what a fallacy. Yeah, buzzing as well. Carl Walker-Peters, legend. Right, James. Anything else then on the transfer window? Go through a couple of messages in a minute.
No, I don't think so. I was a little bit disappointed we didn't bring in more on deadline day or throughout the summer. Especially given if you look at the long list of players that left the club, whether we've released them or sold them, I think there was probably room for one or two more additions. But I think just by looking at the midfield, I think we are better for it. And I mean, we've signed 3 21-year-olds. So the average age has gone down significantly. I think last year the average age was about 48, wasn't it? So
that's I've read that. There's so many times in the last couple of weeks I've had people like screaming at me through their phones. Or through social media, obviously, usually faceless accounts, going, David Moyes left us with an aging squad. Normally that orc sounding sort of voice as well. Patreon.com/We Are West Ham podcast. You can become a subscriber, get the podcast a day earlier, and get ad-free listening. You also get access to the We Are West Ham community group chat. Ben or James? 2 terrible deadline day signings. Oh, Ben, come on. Paul says, I don't think either are terrible, but neither will threaten the first team. So it's just bodies on the bench, which begs the question, if Summerville starts and Ward-Prowse is on the bench, who do we have to inject some life in the game at half-time if we're behind? We've not replaced Kudus at all, to my knowledge. So we'll be solely relying on Guilherme if fit. Well, obviously we've got Summerville back as well, but Fernandez, of course, played quite well at the weekend. Luis Guilherme, what is our fans' obsession with Luis Guilherme, James? What has he done on the pitch in a claret and blue shirt in a first-team game that has so impressed these people? I'm not sort of aiming that at you, Paul, to be fair, but I see so much mention of him as if like people have, I don't know if they just watch a lot. He must have a really good YouTube highlights reel.
Well, there was a couple of times last season we came off the bench and he looked sharp and he's very quick. He's got a little bit of skill on him, but he hasn't done anything for me to warrant like all this fanfare around him. But he has shown glimpses of potentially being a player in the future. But yeah, I mean, I don't even know where he is. Like, he's not been on the bench all season. He featured in pre-season quite a lot. I thought, maybe we might see a little bit more of him this year, and he's just not even been on the bench for the last 4 games. Well, he's gone.
What else have we got here? Ben says, I don't understand the point of bringing Aguerd back to let him go a few months later. Should have gone in the summer.
Do you know what? I mean, I was thinking this
earlier.
It's a bit
of a weird one, that, to be fair, isn't it?
We gave him the number 5 shirt. because he was number 27 before. And I thought, oh, well, they're giving him a 5 shirt. That means he's staying this season. He's off. I gave Edson Alvarez a number 4 shirt. So these are 2 starting 11 numbers, by the way. Just give them starting 11 numbers and then just flog them. Get rid of them. So what's the point? Why do you bother changing their shirt numbers?
What else have we got here then, James? Great result. I think it might be a bit like that this season. Win one, then lose one, says Steph. I hope you're going to give Steph a bit of a slag in there, James, for being really negative and not assuming West Ham are going to win the league after we won 3.
I'll only point out that trend has already been broken because we've lost 2 and then won 1 in the league. So maybe we'll do that. We'll lose the next 2 and then win 1, lose 2 and then win 1.
Yeah, I showed you, Steph, isn't it?
We still might stay up, though, to be fair, Steph, so I'll take it.
Right, what we got here then? Okay, a little bit more of a reaction to the Nottingham Forest game. Hang on, what have we got here? 15 replies. Sorry. Give us 2 seconds, James. Hold that line, caller. Amazing what happens when your fullbacks stay back and defend. What else we got? Oh, I don't like this, James. From one of our patrons on your agree. I never like reading this in a message. Agree with most of what James says. Ooh. Other than giving Graham Potter 2 windows, we need a decent season from him, and so far it's one decent managerial performance in making a change, which every Patreon member said was needed. We can now go into the international break so much more positive than 2 days ago. For all the lack of Pugh, James is another one. For all the talk of brilliant performances yesterday, and there was a lot of it. It was yet again Bowen's brilliance which changed the game for us. If Saka or Foden put in a performance like that, all the commentators would be non-stop talking about it over the international break. I quite agree. Jarrod Bowen being underrated isn't new news though. Yeah, you'll like this one, James, from Paul. I don't know if you'll like it, actually. I'm interested to hear your reaction. I'd hardly say it was a decent managerial performance. Thought 70 minutes of it was atrocious, with zero idea of what to do going forward. Good subs in Summerville. Wilson changed the game. 9 minutes of smash and grab isn't a well-managed match. The 65 possession. Oh, here we go. The 65% possession we gave them for the first 35 minutes and 6 corners. We won't always withstand that pressure, and that would change the game dramatically. Like Paqueta made Slaven look good, Potter needs to show he's got this under control. And so far, over 22 matches, he's shown it's a job beyond him. And 9 minutes doesn't change my mind. That is an absolute scorcher of a Patreon message from Paul there. Thoughts and feelings and emotions, James?
I don't think it was just 9 minutes that won us the game at the weekend. Yeah, look, he's not won enough football matches up to this point. I think, the situation last year kind of counts against him a little bit. But, no, I don't. I think I wrote in my BBC column last week, I said, after that Wolves game, I was like, the problem with Graham Potter at the moment is that he's not reacting. He's just playing that 5 at the back every game, and it's clearly not working. He's not reacting. He goes and reacts 4 days later, 5 days later, and we win a game of football. For me, that's a good sign that, yes, he is capable of doing that. We're playing, a good side, a Premier League side that's going to be playing in Europe this season. And we shouldn't then, just because we've changed formation and, we want this, possession-based football, we shouldn't then just expect it to click like that, and suddenly you've got Thomas Souček and James Ward-Prowse pinging the ball around like Iniesta and Xavi, and it's like, no, it's not happening. So we have to really be realistic about what the resource that Graham Potter's got at his disposal, but then also the quality of the quality of the position that we're playing. And I think what we saw at the weekend was actually Graham Potter reacting to what he's seen in the first 3 games, making changes, and getting a result as a result of it. What more do you want from your manager? Like, if he'd have played a back 5 again and we got thumped 4-5-0, people would still be moaning about the manager. Like, he's changed the system. We've won a game of football and people are like, nah, still not convinced, mate. Yes, I know it's only 1 game, but come on, give the geezer some credit. He made the change that everyone saw 3 weeks ago. Yes, it was 3 games too late.
Yeah.
But he made it. He did it. He saw it. Give him some credit. Like, give him a chance. Like, we can't keep going. We can't keep getting the managers' backs every time they lose a few games of football and then going, well, we need to make a change.
We've lost quite a lot of games of football.
Like the new geezer comes in. And then he doesn't get things going again because it's in the middle of a season and he's using the other manager's squad. And then what do you do? Then you give him a little bit of money the following summer. It still needs a little bit of time to get things to work. And then you sack him because he doesn't get a good start to the following season. And then it's just a vicious cycle and a vicious cycle. Let's stick by the guy, give him time. That's why I said in my thing on Patreon, we need to give him a couple of years, couple of windows. If we're really going to see the best of Graham Potter, then we've got to give him time. Yes, of course, if we're bottom of the league in February or January or whatever it is, then you go, well, this isn't really going anywhere.
What if we get our best Premier League points total after the first half of the season?
Yeah, but I know where this is going, but
I'm just wondering if you give him time then. Sorry, no, go on.
What do you mean? Yeah, but then the guy wins 2 games of football in 19.
No, go on, carry on.
All right, and we go from potentially
give him time,
having the possibility to finish 6th, but instead we finished 10th or 11th. And then fans are going, yeah, but at least we did well in the first half of the season. Come on. I'm not having that. That argument is
give him
redundant.
Time, stick with him, don't get into a vicious cycle of lurching between styles. I hear you loud and clear, James.
It's redundant.
Couple more messages here. Summerville looked better than Kudus did last season. Wonder if those Spurs fans are watching. Couldn't agree more. Thought Fernandes and Diouf were very good too. We've got some great young players. As is another message here, as we said before, getting rid of uncommitted players in the 11 like Todibo and Aguerd, we then see a committed team performance. Did not miss Aaron Wan-Bissaka either. Quite agree. And I think we'll sign off, James, for the last podcast before the international break. We'll be back with the opposition view, of course, ahead of our next Premier League game. What a juicy one that is as well. Before we go, actually, James, have you got sort of any thoughts, feelings and emotions about the international break and the next game coming up, which is Tottenham at home, 5:30 kickoff on the 13th of December?
I have no thoughts or feelings about the international break, other than I hope Bowen does well, but doesn't get very many minutes. Just I don't want to get injured.
God, how bleak.
And then Tottenham, I'd love to beat them so much. Probably definitely more than I'd like to beat Forest.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and like Kudus is going to get a reception, and it's going to be a little bit fun. For all the right reasons.
Obviously, after starting the season thinking they're the best team since sliced bread, get absolutely battered 1-0 at home to Bournemouth, and all the Tottenham fans are slagging Kudus off on Twitter, which
exactly.
I took the liberty of retweeting a few on @WeAre_West Ham. If you haven't seen those, that made me
I have seen them. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I think they showed against Bournemouth that obviously they are a beatable team, and I think they're as good as they think they are. They've made a couple of good signings on deadline day or the last couple of days of the window. But yeah, I don't know. Fans would be up for it, wouldn't they? Always are against Spurs. And I just think in those sort of environments, the players are going to want it, aren't they?
Legends are born, James. Legends are born. Listen, thanks very much for listening and watching, everyone. Do not forget, you can follow us on socials @WeAre_West Ham on Twitter. We are West Ham Pod on Instagram. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel We Are West Ham Podcast. And of course, you can subscribe to the patreon.com/We Are West Ham Podcast for all these podcasts a day early and ad-free listening. Just less than £4 a month. If you're in England, it's about the same, whatever that translates to, wherever you are in the world. And your support does huge favours for me and Jonesy in keeping this podcast going for you for the entirety of this season, in conjunction, of course, with our wonderful sponsor, Miriam Errington Conveyancing in Adelaide, South Australia. Thank you very much for listening, everyone. I'll just leave you with one of my favourite messages that we received this week, James, on Patreon from Morris Cohen, that just says, maybe we'll still finish 12th after all. West Ham are massive. Up the Hammers. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll speak to you after the international break.